Develop an ego, okay? And let me explain, because you might think an ego isn't that bad. Isn't having an ego something that is totally detrimental to your life? No, it's actually the opposite. Everything in life is about balance, right? Because anything that goes to the extreme will be bad for you. It will be negative for you, right? If you drink an excess amount of water to the point where you cannot breathe and you just keep on drinking water, it's going to be bad for you, right? It's not good for you. Why? Even though water can be good with moderation. So what you got to understand about having an ego, there is two extremes, right? There's the extreme to where you go overboard and your ego is controlling your life to the point where you feel like you have to prove things to others, and it's going to get you in situations where it might not be very beneficial for you. Like you might end up in prison because your ego got in the way. You might end up killing yourself doing something because of your ego, because you felt like you had to prove something. So at that point, that's going to the extreme to where your ego is controlling your life and it's starting to become detrimental. And then there's the other extreme to where you have no ego and you're just this hippie and you just live in the woods and you grow your hair out and you get a haircut every 2 times a year. That's the other extreme. And if you want to live that life, then hey, more power to you. But 9 times out of 10, most people don't want to live that life. They just say it because they've realized that it takes a little too much work to get to where they really want to be. However, you have to develop an ego and learn to control it. Don't let it control you. I have an ego, and I do not let it control me. I don't even let other people control me through my ego, because that's one thing about ego is people can control you if you're not astute enough to pay attention to what's really going on behind the scenes, right? Because if you're not astute enough, someone's going to control you through your ego. I've seen this happen plenty of times where a motherfucker has an ego and he thinks he's strong, he thinks he's big, he got in the gym and he's lifting them weights, and someone says, "Man, you're looking swole." Have him purring like a kitten, right? Have him right under your control. Why? Because you're just feeding his ego. He's like, "Wow, yeah, I'm the man. That's right." See, you're letting your ego control your life, because now people can control you through your ego, because you have an ego that's way too big. Now people are like, "Dude, man, look at you. I see you getting in the gym, man. You're getting after it. Look at you, man. You look like the next Ronnie Coleman." And you're like, "Oh shit, I do. I guess I do look kind of big. These shirts have been a little tighter on me." That's when it starts to get to the point where it's not really good. However, if you have an ego to the point where you can control it, an ego is good because you're going to achieve things in life. Because what happens with an ego is you see yourself highly, right? If you have an ego, you see yourself highly. So when you see yourself in a high, you see yourself in a high light, right? You're not going to want to let yourself down. So when you're in situations where you're in a less suboptimal, you're not being that optimal man, you're being a suboptimal man. Your ego is not going to allow you to stay there for very long, right? My ego could not allow me to be a broke bum loser who couldn't really speak too well, who didn't have everything I wanted, who didn't live on my own and lived at my parents' house. My ego got me to quit my addiction, right? Even though the addiction felt amazing, felt great. In the moment when you're doing drugs, it feels good. I can't deny it. However, my ego told me I can't be a bum, broke, loser who cannot speak, who is living at his parents' house. So my ego got me out of there. My ego got me out of my job, right? Because my ego cannot allow me to go into a job and listen to a fat motherfucker when my ego is telling me I'm better than this motherfucker. I'm better than him. I speak better than him. I'm more disciplined than him. I dress better than him. I make sure that I'm in a better appearance I do things to better my life. So my ego cannot take that going into a job, being told, oh, you have to cut your beard. Oh, you have to wear your uniform this way. Oh, you can't go here. Oh, you can't. My ego does not allow me to do that. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like I said, in moderation, it's a good thing because otherwise I'd be at a job until I'm 65, 75 because I didn't have an ego. But my ego, a healthy amount of ego, will allow you to grow in life because you can't stay stuck at a job and have an ego because, oh shit, because when you have an ego to the point where it's controllable, you're not going to want to be at a job. You're not going to want to be somewhere that you don't want to be because you see yourself as, I should be up here. Why am I down here? Why am I down here? I should be up here. And that ego, that desire to want to be up here, will cause you to work hard to close that gap, right? Because if you're down here and you have no ego, you're going to stay down here. But if you have an ego, you're going to want to close that gap naturally. It's going to want to give you that fire to work harder, to work towards your dreams, to get everything you've ever wanted. Why? Because you see yourself in a high light, right? You have a high self-esteem. You don't have a low self-esteem to where you say, I have no ego and I don't care about myself. I am not myself. I am a whole nother entity, right? All that stuff is cool and everything, but at the end of the day, when you have that mindset, you're not going to achieve big things in life. And if you want to achieve big things in life, you have to develop somewhat of an ego, okay? If you want to have success with women, if you want to achieve the things in life that not everyone has, you have to have a bit of an ego, right? That's what I've seen. Most successful people, they have an ego. So if you look at any successful person, 9 times out of 10, they're going to have an ego. If they're self-made, they're self-driven, they've made it places on their own, 9 times out of 10, they had an ego. All right, that's the video for today. Like the video, comment down below, and hey, you looking big in that shirt. You been working out? Oh, you've been working out, buddy. Okay, I see you. Yeah.